Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. So today we are going to learn about Zakat, which is one of the pillars of Islam. So let's learn about it. So let's go through the definition first. So what does it mean when we talk about Zakat? Zakat literally means that purity and growth. So what does it mean by purity? We always say that people say that such as Zakat purify our soul and wealth. So why? I'll explain it later. So keep watching.
In the literal meaning of zakat means the condition of zakat. It means property that will be charged. Zakat must be a growing or potential treasure for growth. The evolving nature of property is the property that gives return and income to its owner. This condition is derived from the hadith of Prophet Muhammad SAW from Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, riwayat Bukhari and Muslim. So among the zakat, only obligation on the growing property is that the payment of zakat does not lead to the depreciation of the property. Moreover, if if the property is the only source of the survival of its owner, then the zakat will impose. So it will bring trouble of its owner. So that is mean of growing in the meaning of zakat.
So in dictionary, Zakat means that obligatory alms that are made annually under the Muslim law. That's basically what dictionary told us. So what is the technical meaning? The technical meaning of zakat is issuing certain property at a certain rate according to certain conditions for distribution to a certain groups of people. So what does it mean by that? All certain. So we'll move on to next.
So what is the type of zakat property? Zakat property is divided by three. First is agriculture produce such as crops. Second is pasturing domestic animals such as cows, goat and al-an'am animals. Okay. Third is things constituting a ready medium exchange such as gold and silver. So that is the type of zakat property.
So basically, before we move on to explaining the rates of zakat, I'm going to explain about type of zakat. So there is two type of zakat, which is zakat fitrah and zakat harta. So zakat harta actually there is more in this era because of modern, because our era have been modernized. So the new zakat that we have in zakat harta is zakat of income, zakat in saving, zakat in investment, zakat of gold and silver, and zakat in KWSP. That's basically one types of in zakat harta. So what does it mean by zakat harta? Zakat harta is zakat that is paid on one possession and business assets. So that is zakat harta. While in zakat fitrah means that a fixed amount tax paid by individual or dependent between Ramadan and Shawwal. So these two types of zakat have different rates. So we're gonna explain it.
Okay, like Irsyadi said, there is two type of zakat, which is zakat harta and zakat fitrah. So let's talk about zakat harta dulu. The zakat harta rate is 2.5% based on our growing property, while zakat fitrah
every country have this different rates of zakat fitrah, but in mazhab Hanafi, one bushel is equal to 3.7 kilogram, but in Peninsula Malaysia, one bushel is equal to 2.6 kilogram, and Sabah Sarawak pula is one bushel is equal to 2.7 kilogram. So that is the rate of zakat fitrah in Malaysia.
When you say about certain conditions, there are 5 conditions in zakat when we want to perform zakat, which is first Islam, which only Muslim that pay zakat. The second, which is perfect possession. A person's ownership of the property is valid throughout the period and has power independently. That is perfect possession. And next, as for the third, is enough haul. Haul means that haul is enough 1 year of the permanent possession of zakat property by a person other than the property of zakat of grains, fruits, minerals and treasures. And as for the fourth, is enough his nisab. Nisab is the minimum rate of ownership of a property that obliges zakat on the property. As for the fifth is zakat only imposed on growing property. So that's basically what is the conditions. Yeah.
So, who does qualify to receive zakat? God has ordained that the zakat be distributed to certain categories of people. In Quran says in Surah At-Tawbah verse 60, which is innamas sadaqatu lil fuqara'i wal masakini wal amilina 'alaiha wal mu'allafati qulubuhum wa fir riqabi wal gharimina wa fi sabilillahi wa ibnis sabil faridatan minallah wallahu alimun hakim, which mean the aims are only for the poor and the needy and those employed to collect the fund, and to attract the heart of those who have been inclined toward Islam, and to free the captive, and for those in debt, and for those struggling for those in debt, and for those struggling for the cause of God, and for the welfare, which is a traveller who is cut off from everything, a duty imposed by God. In that verse, God mentioned eight categories of people, which is first the poor, second the needy, third those person who are appointed to collect zakat, fourth those who have recently convert or are considering converting to Islam. 5. Zakat may be used purchased to freedom or of slave. 6. A person whose debt exceeds his asset. 7. Those who are from home working in the path of God. And last is a traveller. So that is the people who deserve receive zakat. Okay. So let's talk about the prescription of zakat. Okay, in the beginning, in Mecca, the verse on zakat were in the general form of volunteer repayment, and it was left to the faith and the brotherly feelings of individual to decide what and how much to give on zakat. Surah Al-Ma'arij advice, which means, and in whose wealth there is a right acknowledged for the beggar and the destitute. It was only the second year of Hijrah, some 18 months after the arrival of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Madinah, that zakat become an obligation on Muslim. The Madinah verse gave clear directive ordering the payment of zakat, and since that time the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent out the zakat workers to collect and distribute the due zakat. So let's talk about history of zakat.
One of the history of zakat that I'm going to share today is about when Abu Bakar As-Siddiq became the Khalifah after Prophet Muhammad SAW have wafat. So, in the story that I want to share, there is 3 groups of people that have been opposed greatly by Abu Bakar As-Siddiq, which is first the Aridah, the groups of people that murtad or convert their religion, and second, the groups of people that proclaim themselves as the new prophet, and last but not least, the group of people that didn't pay zakah. This showed that and indicated that zakah is very important, that until if they didn't pay zakah, they have been opposed greatly until the Battle of Yamamah occurred. The Battle of Yamamah is consisting of the 3 groups of people and Islam. So that's why zakat is very important. So let's move on to our next.
So our last question is, why zakat is regarded as a means of purification?
I know. Let's do right. The first is the ones who get and the ones who give. The ones who give zakat, they can avoid from being selfishness and greed for the wealth, and they can also develop in his sympathy for the poor and needy. As for the who receive the zakah, it purifies their heart from envy and hatred of the rich and prosperous, and also foster a sense of goodwill between brothers. Alright, that is as for our 2. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. But there is another one that which is the perspective of berkah.
Oh.
The perspective of berkah is it is believed that a part of wealth that someone has attained is not theirs.
Oh.
If not pay the zakat, it will consider that he is using someone else's property.
Oh, I see. So that's our last question.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's conclude our video. Thank you. Bye bye.
Assalamualaikum.